أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على خاتم المرسلين سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه ومن تبعهم بإحسان إلى يوم الدين. I'd like to extend my greetings to all of you who are with us today and all of you online. Assalamu alaikum. And after this reading, we will wish you a congratulatory Eid Mubarak. This will be the last reading of the Quran. This will be, inshallah, the last of the Taraweeh. Taraweeh will not be tonight. We will be having the Eid services here at the FirstCleveland Mosque on tomorrow at 9 o'clock. We ask that everyone get there properly and get here on time, inshallah. And we also congratulate everyone in terms of their fasting and their Ramadan, inshallah. Let us all turn to Surah Naba, that's Surah 78, page 1671 in some Qur'ans, commentary 258. The great news for man in his spiritual destiny is the judgment to come, that is the day of sorting out. Do not the power, the goodness, and the justice of Allah reveals themselves in all nature? The panorama around us, the voice in our souls, and the harmony between heaven and earth? That day is sure to arrive at its time appointed, when behold, the present order will pass away. Then will the fruits of evil appear, and the fruits of righteousness. Allah's blessings will be more than the merits of men. But who can argue with the fountain of grace? And who can prevent the course of justice? Let us then, before it becomes too late, betake ourselves to our Lord, most gracious. Naba, or the great news. In the name of Allah, most gracious, most merciful. Concerning what are they disputing? Concerning the great news about which they cannot agree. Verily, they shall soon come to know. Verily, verily, they shall soon come to know. Have we not made the earth as a wide expanse and the mountains as pegs? And have we not created you in pairs and made your sleep for rest, and made the night as a covering, and made the day as a means of subsistence? And have we not built over you the seven firmaments and placed thereon a light of splendor? And do we not send down from the clouds water in abundance, that we may produce therewith corn and vegetables and gardens of luxurious growth? Verily, the day of sorting out is a thing appointed. The day that the trumpet shall be sounded, and ye shall come forth in crowds. And the heavens shall be opened as if there were doors, and the mountains shall vanish as if they were a mirage. Truly, hell is as a place of ambush for the transgressors, a place of destination. They will dwell therein for ages. Nothing cool shall they taste therein, nor any drink, save a boiling fluid, and a fluid dark, murky, intensely cold, a fitting recompense for them. For they use not to fear any account for their deeds. But they have impudently treated our signs as false, and all things have we preserved on record. So taste ye the fruits of your deeds, for no increase shall we grant you except in punishment. Verily for the righteous, there will be a fulfillment of the heart desires, gardens enclosed and grapevines, companions of equal age, and a cup full to the brim. No vanity shall they hear therein, nor untruth. Recompense from thy Lord, a gift amply sufficient. From the Lord of the heavens and the earth and all between, the Lord most gracious. None shall have power to argue with him. The day that the Spirit and the angels will stand forth in ranks, none shall speak except any who is permitted by Allah most gracious. And he will say what is right. That day will be the sure reality. Therefore, whoso will, let him take a straight return to his Lord. Verily, we have warned you of a penalty near, the day when man will see the deeds which his hands have sent forth. And the unbelievers will say, woe unto me, for that I were mere dust. Naziat, commentary 259, Surah 79. Never can evil escape Allah's order and law. His angels are ever present to bring the wicked to their bearings, and they ever strive and press forward to bring comfort, succor, and Allah's mercy to those who seek it. Then will come the day when the proud shall be humble, though they deny the coming judgment. What happened to Pharaoh? He flouted Allah's message specially sent to him, and arrogantly proclaimed, I am your Lord Most High. He perished in this life, and will answer for his deeds in the next. But can ye not see, O men, the mighty works of Allah in the heavens and on earth? The darksome splendor of night with its stars, and the daylight splendor of the sun? How the earth with its spacious expanse and its mountains yield moisture and pasture and feeds and sustains men and cattle through Allah's wide providence? Transgress not all bounds, and earn not the fire of punishment, but fear Allah and his judgment, and be prepared, and prepare for the garden of perpetual bliss. Delay not, the judgment is sure, and is nigh. Naziat, or those who tear out. In the name of Allah, most gracious, most merciful, by the angels who tear out the souls of the wicked with violence, by those who gently draw out the souls of the blessed, and by those who glide along on errands of mercy, then press forward as in a race, then arrange to do the commands of their Lord. One day, everything that can be in commotion will be in violent commotion, followed by oft repeated commotions. Hearts that day will be in agitation. Cast down will be their owner's eyes. They say, now, what? What? Shall we indeed be returned to our former state? What? When we shall have become rotten bones? They say, it would, in that case, be a return with loss. But verily, it will be but a single compelling cry, when behold, they will be in the full awakening to judgment. Has the story of Moses reached thee? Behold, thy Lord did call to him in the sacred valley to Twa. Go thou to Pharaoh, for he has indeed transgressed all bounds. And say to him, wilt thou that thou should be purified from sin? And that I guide thee to thy Lord, so thou shouldst fear him? Then did Moses show him the great sign. But Pharaoh rejected and disobeyed guidance. Further, he turned his back, striving hard against the law. Then he collected his men and made a proclamation, saying, I am your Lord Most High. But Allah did punish him, and made an example of him in the hereafter, as in this life. Verily in this is an instructive warning for whosoever feareth Allah. What? Are ye the more difficult to create, or the heavens above? Allah hath constructed it. On high hath he raised his canopy, and he hath given it order and perfection. Its night doth he endow with darkness, and its splendor doth he bring out with light. And the earth, moreover, hath he extended to a wide expanse. He draweth out therefrom its moisture and its pasture. And the mountains hath he firmly fixed, for use and convenience to you and your cattle. Therefore, when there comes to the great overwhelming event, the day when men shall remember all that he strove for, and hellfire shall be placed in full view for all to see, then for such as have transgressed all bounds, and have preferred the life of this world, the abode will be hellfire. And for such as had entertained the fear of standing before their Lord's tribunal, and had restrained their souls from all desires, their abode will be the garden. Now they ask thee about the hour. When will it be its appointed time? Wherein art thou concerned with the declaration thereof? With thy Lord is the limit fixed therefore. Thou art but a warner for such as fear it. The day they see it, it will be as they had tarried but a single evening, or at most, the following morning. Commentary 260. Men not blessed with the good things of this life may yet be earnest seekers of truth and purity, and deserve as much attention as those who seem to wield some influence, yet who in their pride are self-sufficient. Allah's message is universal. All have a right to hear it. Held high in honor, kept pure and holy, it should be written by none but good and honorable men. Allah's grace is showered on man not less for his inner growth than in his outward life. There must be a final reckoning, when each soul must stand on his own past record. The faces then of the blessed will beam with joy and light, while the doers of iniquity will hide in dust and shame and darkness. Abasa, or he frowned. In the name of Allah, most gracious, most merciful, the prophet frowned and turned away, because there came to him the blind man interrupting. But what could tell thee but that perchance he might grow in spiritual understanding, or that he might receive admonition, and the teaching might profit him? Now as to the one who regards himself as self-sufficient, to him dost thou attend. though it is no blame to thee if he grows not in spiritual understanding. But as to him who came to thee striving earnestly and with fear in his heart, of him wert thou unmindful. By no means should it be so, for it is indeed a message of instruction. Therefore, let whoso will keep in remembrance. It is in the books held greatly in honor, exalted in dignity, kept pure and holy, written by the hands of scribes, honorable and pious and just. Woe to man! What has made him reject Allah? From what stuff had he created him? From a sperm drop he created him, and then molded him in due proportion. Then doth he make his path smooth for him. Then he causes him to die and put him in his grave. Then, when it is his will, he will raise him up again. By no means hath he fulfilled what Allah hath commanded him. Then let man look at his food and how he provided. For that we pour forth water in abundance, and we split the earth in fragments, and produce therein corn and grapes and nutritious plants and olives and dates, and enclosed gardens dense with lofty trees and fruits and fodder for use and convenience to you and your cattle. And then, when there comes a deafening noise, that day shall a man flee from his own brother, and from his mother, and his father, and from his wife and his children. Each one of them that day will have enough concern of his own to make him indifferent to the others. Some faces that day will be beaming, laughing, rejoicing, and other faces that day will be dust-stained. Blackness will cover them. Such will be the rejectors of Allah, the doers of iniquity. Commentary 261. How can the soul's self-conviction be fitly expressed, except by types of tremendous cataclysms in nature, and still more by tremendous searchings in the hearts of man? These want deep pondering. When once the spiritual dawn has breathed away the darkness of the night, the vision glorious clears all doubt, and brings us face to face with truth. The highest archangel in heaven is sent by the law to bring these truths to men through their apostles. Allah's grace flows freely. We are but to tune our wills to his, the ever-loving, righteous Allah. Taqweer, or the folding up. In the name of Allah, most gracious, most merciful. When the sun with its spacious light is folded up, when the stars fall, losing their luster, when the mountains vanish like a mirage, when the she-camel 10 months with young are left unattended, when the wild beasts are herded together in human habitations, when the oceans boil over with the swell, when the souls are sorted out, being joined like with like, when the female infant buried alive is questioned for what crime she was killed, when the scrolls are laid open, when the world on high is unveiled, when the blazing fire is kindled to fierce heat, and when the garden is brought near, then shall each soul know what it has put forward. So verily, I call to witness the planets that recede, go straight or hide, and the night as it dissipates, and the dawn as it breathes away the darkness. Verily, this is the word of a most honorable messenger, due with power, with ranks before the Lord of the throne, with authority there and faithful of his trust. And, O people, your companion is not one possessed, and without doubt he saw him in the clear horizon. Neither doth he withhold grudgingly the knowledge of the unseen, nor is it the word of an evil spirit accursed. Then whither go ye? Verily, this is no less than a message to all the worlds, with profit to whoever among you wills to go straight. But ye shall not will except as Allah wills, the cherisher of the worlds. Commentary 262, Introduction to Surah Al-Infitar. How fixed is the order holding together this material universe above and below us? Yet it must give way before the vast, unfathomed truth in which man will see his past and his future in true perspective. To Allah he owes his life and all his blessings. Will he not see that the future depends on right and justice? Righteousness must come to its own, and so much discord and rebellion. They must come when discord must finally cease, and the peace of Allah and his command are all in all. Infitar, or cleaving asunder. In the name of Allah, most gracious, most merciful. When the sky is cleft asunder, when stars are scattered, when the oceans are suffered to burst forth, and when the graves are turned upside down, then shall each soul know what it had sent forward and what it had kept back. O man, What has seduced thee from thy Lord most beneficent? Him who created thee, fashioned thee in due proportion, and gave thee a just bias. In whatever form he wills does he put thee together. Nay, but ye do reject right in judgment. But verily over you are appointed angels to protect you, kind and honorable, writing down your deeds. They know and understand all that you do. And as for the righteous, they will be in bliss. And the wicked, they will be in the fire, which they will enter on the day of judgment. And they will not be able to keep away therefrom. And what will explain to thee what is the day of judgment? Or what is the day of judgment? Again, what will explain to thee what the day of judgment is? It will be the day when no soul shall have power to do aught for another. For the command that day will be holy with the law. Introduction to Salat Tatfif, commentary 263. Shun fraud in all things, in little things of daily life, but especially in those subtler forms of higher life, which will be exposed to view at judgment, however hidden they may be in this life. Give everyone his due, for the record of ill deeds and good is fully kept, and the stains of sin corrupt the soul. Reject not the real now, nor mock, for the time will come when the true will come to its own, and then the mighty arrogant will be abased. Tatfif, or dealing in fraud. In the name of Allah, most gracious, most merciful, woe to those that deal in fraud, that is, those who, when they have to receive a measure from men, exact full measure, but when they have to give by measure away to men, give less than due. Do they not think that they will be called to account on a mighty day, a day when all mankind will stand before the Lord of the worlds? Nay, surely the record of the wicked is preserved in Sijin. And what will explain to thee what Sijin is? There is a register fully inscribed. Woe that day to those that deny the day of judgment. And none can deny it but the transgressors beyond bounds, that is, the sinner. When our sayings are rehearsed to him, he says, tales of the ancients. By no means, but on their hearts is the stain of the ill which they do. Verily, from the light of their Lord that day will they be veiled. Further, they will enter the fire of hell. Further, it will be said to them, this is the reality which you rejected as false. Nay, verily the record of the righteous is preserved in Ilyin. And what will explain to thee what Ilyin is? There is a register fully inscribed to which bear witness those nearest to Allah. Truly, the righteous will be blessed. On thrones of dignity will they command the sight of all things. Thou wilt recognize in their faces the beaming brightness of bliss. Their thirst will be slaked with pure wine sealed. The seal thereof will be musk. And for this, let those aspire who have aspirations. With it will be given a mixture of tasneem, a spring from the waters whereof drink those nearest to Allah. Those in sin used to laugh at those who believe. And whenever they passed by them, used to wink at each other in mockery. And when they returned to their own people, they would return justly. And whenever they saw them, they would say, behold, these are the people truly astray. But they had not been sent as keepers over them. But on this day, the believers will laugh at the unbelievers. On thrones of dignity, they will command the sight of all things. Will not the unbelievers have been paid back for what they did? In Shikak, commentary 264. All mysteries, fair or enshrouded in gloom, will vanish when the full reality stands revealed. If this life is but painful toil, there is the hope of the meeting with the Lord. That will be bliss indeed for righteous. But woe to arrogant dealers in sin. Like the sunset glow, or the shades of night, or the moon's ever-changing light, man's life never rests here below, but travels ever onward stage by stage. Grasp then Allah's message and reach the heights to reap a reward that will never fail through all eternity. In Shikak, the rending asunder. In the name of Allah, most gracious, most merciful, when the sky is rent asunder and hearkens to the command of its Lord, and it must needs do so, and when the earth is flattened out and carries forth what is it within it, it becomes clean and empty, and hearkens to the command of its Lord, and it must needs do so, then will come home the full reality. O thou man, Verily thou art ever toiling on towards the Lord, painfully toiling, but thou shalt meet him. Then he who is given his record in his right hand, soon will his account be taken by an easy reckoning. And he will turn to his people rejoicing. But he who is given his record behind his back, soon will he cry for perdition. And he will enter a blazing fire. Truly did he go about among the people rejoicing. Truly did he think that he would not have to return to us. Nay, nay, for his Lord was ever watchful of him. So I do call to witness the ruddy glow of sunset, the night in its homing, and the moon in her fullness. Ye shall surely travel from stage to stage. What then is the matter with them that they believe not? And when the Quran is read to them, they fall not to prostrate. That's a sister. But on the contrary, the unbelievers rejected. But Allah has full knowledge of what they secrete in their breasts, so announce to them a penalty grievous, except to those who believe and work righteous deeds. For them is a reward that will never fail. Commentary 265, Introduction to Surah Al-Buruj. Woe to those who persecute truth. They are being watched by mighty eyes. They will have to answer when the judgment comes, and a clear record will witness against them. Are they cruel to men because of their faith? The fire that you will be turned against them. For Allah is strong and will subdue the mightiest foes. Be warned and learn from his gracious message preserved through all time. Buruj, or the zodiacal signs. In the name of Allah, most gracious, most merciful. By the sky displaying the zodiacal signs, by the promised day of judgment, by one that witnesses and the subject of the witness. Woe to the maker of the pit of fire, fire supplied abundantly with fuel. Behold, they sat over against the fire, and they witnessed all that they were doing against the believers. And they ill-treated them for no other reason than they believed in Allah, exalted in power, worthy of all praise. Him to whom belong the dominion of the heavens and the earth, and Allah is witness to all things. Those who persecute or draw into temptation the believers, men and women, and do not turn in repentance, will have the penalty of hell. They will have the penalty of the burning fire. And for those who believe and do deeds of righteousness, will be gardens beneath with rivers flow. That is the great salvation, the fulfillment of all desires. Truly strong is the grip and power of thy Lord. It is he who creates from the very beginning, and he can restore life. And he is the all-forgiving, full of loving kindness, Lord of the throne of glory, does without let of all that he intends. Has the story reached thee of the forces of Pharaoh and the Thamud? And yet the unbelievers persist in rejecting the truth. But Allah doth encompass them from behind. Nay, this is a glorious Quran, inscribed and a tablet preserved. Tariq, Commentary 266. Through the darkest night comes the penetrating light of a glorious star. Such is the power of revelation. It protects and guides the erring. For what is man? But a creature of flesh and bones. But Allah by his power doth raise man's state to a life beyond, when lo, all things hidden will be made plain. Man's help will then be but the word of Allah which none can thwart. So wait with gentle patience for his decision. Tariq, or the night visitant. In the name of Allah, most gracious, most merciful. By the sky and the night visitant therein. And what will explain to thee what the night visitant is? It is the star of piercing brightness. There is no soul but has a protector over it. Now, let man think from what he is created. He is created from a drop emitted, proceeding from between the backbone and the ribs. Surely Allah is able to bring him back to life. The day that all things secret will be tested, man will have no power and no helper. By the firmament which returns in its round, and by the earth which opens out for the gushing of springs or the sprouting of vegetation, behold, this is the word that distinguishes good from evil. It is not a thing for amusement, and as for them, they are but plotting a scheme, and I am planning a scheme. Therefore grant a delay to the unbeliever. Give them respite. Give respite to them gently for a while. Commentary 267. Introduction to Island. Wonderful are the ways of Allah in creation and the love with which He guides His creatures' destinies. Gives them the means by which to strive for maturity by ordered steps and reach the end most fitted for their natures. His law is just and easy. His grace is ever ready to help. Let us look to the eternal goal with hearts and souls of purity and glorify His name. For in this changing, fleeting world, His word is always true and will remain through all the ages ever the same. Allah, or the Most High. In the name of Allah, most gracious, most merciful, glorify the name of Guardian Lord, Most High, who hath created and further given order and proportion, who hath ordained laws and granted guidance, and who bringeth out the green and luscious pastures, and then doth make it but swarthy stubble. By degrees shall we teach thee to declare the message, so thou shalt not forget, except as Allah wills. For He knoweth what is manifest and what is hidden. And we will make it easy for thee to follow the simple path. Therefore give admonition in case the admonition profits to hear it. The admonition will be received by those who fear Allah, but it will be avoided by those most unfortunate ones, who will enter the great fire, in which they will then neither die nor live. But those will prosper who purify themselves, and glorify the name of their guardian Lord, and lift their hearts in prayer. Nay, behold, ye prefer the life of this world, but the hereafter is better and more enduring. And this is in the books of the earliest revelation, the books of Ibrahim and Moses. Commentary 268, Introduction to Surah Ghashiyah. Have you heard of that tremendous day when the good from the evil will be separated? There will be souls that day will burn and grovel in the blazing fire of wrath. No food can fill their hunger, no drink, alas, can slake their fierce thirst. There will be souls that day will shout with joy to the glory of their Lord. Their past endeavors will now be achievements. Raised high on thrones of dignity, they will be guests at the sumptuous feast of bliss. Let man but look at his dominion over the beasts of the field, or his glorious canopy of stars, or the eternal hills that feed his streams, or the wide expanse of Mother Earth that nurtures him, and he will see the order plan of Allah. To him must he return and give account. Let him then learn his lesson and live. Ghashiyah, or the overwhelming event. In the name of Allah, most gracious, most merciful. Has the story reached thee of the overwhelming event? Some faces that day will be humiliated, laboring hard, weary, the while they enter the blazing fire, the while they are given to drink of a boiling hot spring. No food will there be for them but the bitter lottery, which will neither nourish nor satisfy hunger. Other faces that day will be joyful, pleased with their striving, in the garden on high, where they shall hear no word of vanity. Therein will be a bubbling spring. Therein will be the thrones of dignity raised on high. Goblets placed ready, and cushions set in rows, and rich carpets all spread out. Do they not look at the camels, how they are made? And at the sky, how it's raised high? And at mountains, how they are fixed firm? And at earth, how it is spread out? Therefore, do thou give admonition, for thou art one to admonish. Thou art not one to manage men's affairs. But if any turn away and reject Allah, Allah will punish him with a mighty punishment, for to us will be their return. Then it will be for us to call them to account. Fajr, Commentary 269. Man is apt to forget the contrast in nature and life and all that they mean in his spiritual growth. Perchance his mind is so absorbed in what he sees that he doubts the vast realities he does not see. The present makes him blind to the past and to the future. Fooled by glory, he fears not a fall, and balked in disaster, he gives up hope and sometimes faith. Let him study nature and history and restore his faith, realizing the sure event, the hereafter. Let him find his fullest fulfillment in the service and in the good pleasure of Allah. Fajr, or the break of day. In the name of Allah, most gracious, most merciful, by the break of day, by the nights twice 5, by the even and odd contrasted, and by the night when it passes away. Is there not in these an adjuration or evidence for those who understand? See thou not how thy Lord dealt with the odd people of the city of Iran with lofty pillars, the like of which were not produced in all the lands? And with the Thamud people who cut out huge rocks in the valleys? And with Pharaoh, lord of states? All these transgressed beyond bounds of the land, and heaped therein mischief on mischief. Therefore did thy Lord pour on them a scourge of diverse chastisement, for thy Lord is as a guardian on a watchtower. Now, as a man, when his Lord trieth them, giving him honor and gifts, then saith he, puffed up with pride, puffed up, my Lord hath honored me. But when he trieth them, restricting his subsistence for him, then saith he in despair, my Lord hath humiliated me. Nay, nay, but ye honor not the orphans, nor do you encourage one another to feed the poor. And you devour inheritance all with greed, and you love wealth with inordinate love. Nay, when the earth is pounded to powder, and thy Lord cometh, and his angels rank upon rank, and hell that day is brought face to face, on that day will man remember. But how will that remembrance profit him? He will say, would that I had sent forth good deeds for this my future life. For that day his chastisement will be such as none else can inflict, and his bonds will be such as none other can bind. To the righteous soul he said, O thou soul in complete rest and satisfaction, come back thou to thy Lord well pleased thyself, and well pleasing unto him. Enter thou then among my devotees, yea, enter thou my heaven. Commentary 270, Introduction to Surah Balad. The prophet's own city persecuted him. Honored by his nativity, he sought to slay him. Yet he loved it and purged it of all that was wrong. What toil and struggle did it not involve? Man is made for toil and struggle. Let him not boast of ease and wealth. He will be called to account for all his doings. Let him use his Allah-given faculties and tread the steep path that leads to heaven's heights. The steps thereto are love, unselfish love. Give freely to Allah's creatures, all those in need, and faith in Allah, and patience joined with self-restraint and kindness. Thus only can we reach the ranks of the blessed companions of the right hand. Balad of the city. In the name of Allah, most gracious, most merciful. I do call to witness this city, and thou art a free man of this city, and the mystic ties of parent and child. Verily, we have created man into toil and struggle. Thinketh he that none hath power over him? He may say boastfully, wealth have I squandered in abundance. Think he that none beholdeth him? Have we not made for him a pair of eyes and a tongue and a pair of lips, and showed him the two highways? But he hath made no haste on the path that is steep. And what will explain to thee the path that is steep? It is freeing the bondsmen, the giving of food in the day of privation to the orphans with claim of relationships, or to the indigent down in the dust. Then will he be of those who believe in enjoying patience, constancy, and self-restraint, and enjoying deeds of kindness and compassion. Such are the companions of the right hand. But those who reject our signs, they are the unhappy companions of the left hand. On them will be fire vaulted over all round. Commentary 271, Introduction to Surah Shams. All nature around us and her pageants, and the soul of man within proclaims the goodness of Allah. Allah gave the soul the power of choice in the sense of right and wrong. Let man keep it pure and attain salvation. Soil it with sin and reach perdition. Inordinate wrongdoing run the Thamud. They defied Allah's sacred law and his prophet, and went to destruction for their crime. Shams, or the sun. In the name of Allah, most gracious, most merciful. By the sun and his glorious splendor. By the moon as she follows him. By the day as it shows up the sun's glory. By the night as it conceals it. By the firmament and its wonderful structure. By the earth and its wide expanse. And by the soul and the proportionate order given to it. And his enlightenment as to its wrong and its right. Truly, he succeeds that purifies it, and he fails that corrupts it. Now the Thamud people rejected their prophet through their inordinate wrongdoing. Behold, the most wicked man among them was deputed for impiety. But the apostle of Allah said to them, it is a she-camel of Allah, and barred her not from having her drink. Then they rejected him as a false prophet, and they hamstrung her. So their Lord, on account of their crime, obliterated their traces and made them equal in destruction, high and low. And for him there is no fear of his consequences. Later, commentary 272. When we consider Allah's wonderful creation, we see mysteries, many opposites, many differences, the succession of nights and days, the creation of male and female. Can we wonder at the differences in the nature and objectives of man? He is endowed with will, and he must strive for the right through all his diverse paths. For the righteous, the way is made the smoother for bliss. For the arrogant, crooked will, the way is smoother for misery. But Allah's guidance is always nigh, if man will choose it. And what is the goal for those who choose right? The sight of the face of Allah Most High. For that, indeed, is happiness supreme. Layl, or the night. In the name of Allah, most gracious, most merciful, by the night as it conceals the light, by the day as it appears in glory, by the mystery of the creation of male and female. Verily the ends ye strive for are diverse. So he who gives in charity and fears Allah, and in all sincerity testifies to the best, we will indeed make smooth for him the path to bliss. But he who is a greedy miser and thinks himself self-sufficient and gives the lie to the best, we will indeed make smooth for him the path to misery. Nor will his wealth profit him when he falls headlong into the pit. Verily, we take upon ourselves to guide, and verily unto us belong the end and the beginning. Therefore do I warn you of a fire blazing fiercely. None shall reach it but those most unfortunate ones, who give the lie to truth and turn their backs. But those most devoted to Allah shall be removed far from it. That is, those who spend their wealth for increase in self-purification, and have in their minds no favor from anyone for which a reward is expected in return, but only the desire to seek for the countenance of the Lord Most High, and soon will they attain complete satisfaction. Duha, commentary 273. What an example we have in the Prophet's life. When moments of inspiration were still, his soul yet felt the power of his stillness, like one who prays by night and waits for the dawn, knowing how the light grows brighter every hour till noon, and well content that night and morn and the hours succeeding are but steps of the plenary splendor noon. He was content and consoled in the thought that Allah has bestowed his loving care on him in the past, and so the future was sure. He followed the light divine to help the helpless, to attend with patience to the call of those in need, and to rehearse and proclaim and share the boundless bounties of Allah. Duha, or the glorious morning light. In the name of Allah, most gracious, most merciful, by the glorious morning light and by the night when it is still, the guardian Lord hath not forsaken thee, nor is he displeased. And verily the hereafter will be better for thee than the present. And soon will thy guardian Lord give thee that wherewith thou shalt be well pleased. Did he not find thee an orphan and give thee shelter and care? And he found thee wandering and he gave thee guidance. And he found thee in need and made thee independent. Therefore treat not the orphan with harshness, nor repulse the petitioner unheard. But the bounty of thy Lord rehearse and proclaim. In Shirah, commentary 274. The Prophet's mind and heart had indeed been expanded and purified. The burden which pressed on his soul had been removed, and his name exalted in this world and the next. For the righteous man there is no trouble, but is linked with ease and joy. He must strive at every stage and look to Allah alone as the goal of all his hopes. In Shirah, expansion. In the name of Allah, most gracious, most merciful, have we not expanded thee thy breast, and removed from thee thy burden, the which did gall thy back, and raised high the esteem in which thou art held? So verily, with every difficulty there is relief. Verily, with every difficulty there is relief. Therefore, when thou art freed from thine immediate task, still labor hard, and to thy Lord turn all thy attention. Commentary 275, Surah 15. Nature and history in the light of revelation through the ages show that man created by Allah in the best of molds can yet fall to the Lord's depths unless he lives a life of faith and righteousness. Then will he reach his goal. If not, he must stand his judgment. None can doubt before the wisest and justice of judges. tin on the fig. In the name of Allah, most gracious, most merciful. By the fig and the olive and the Mount of Sinai and the city of security, we have indeed created man in the best of molds. Then do we abase him to be the lords of law, except such as believe and do righteous deeds, for they shall have a reward unfailing. Then what can after this contradict them after the judgment to come? Is not Allah the wisest of judges? Iqra, commentary 276. Noble of the mission of the Prophet, selected to proclaim the message of Allah, the Lord and cherisher of all his creation, whose measureless bounties include the instruction of man in new and ever new knowledge. But alas for man, he fancies himself self-sufficient, turns away from the path and misleads others. But nothing is hidden from Allah. He will bring all untruth and sin and rebellion to judgment and subdue all evil. The righteous bow in adoration to Allah and draw closer to him. Iqra, or read or proclaim, or Allah, or the clot of congealed blood. In the name of Allah, most gracious, most merciful. Proclaim or read in the name of thy Lord and cherisher who created man out of a mere clot of congealed blood. Proclaim, and thy Lord is most bountiful. He who taught the use of the pen taught man that which he knew not. Nay, but man doth transgress all bounds, and that he looketh upon himself as self-sufficient. Verily to thy Lord is the return of all. See thou one who forbids of ordering when he turns to pray? See thou if he is on the road of guidance or enjoys righteousness? See thou if he denies truth and turns away? Know thee not that Allah does see? Let him beware. If he desist not, we will drag him by the forelock, a lying, sinful forelock. Then let him call for help to his council of comrades. We will call on the angels of punishment to deal with him. Nay, heed him not, but bow down in adoration and bring thyself the closer to Allah. That's the sister. Introduction to Surah Al-Qadr. Blessed indeed is the night of power, when the mercy of Allah's revelation breaks through the darkness of the human soul. All the power of the world divine speed on their mystic message of mercy by commands of Allah, and bless every nook and corner of the heart. All jars are stilled in the reign supreme of peace until this mortal night gives place to the glorious day of an immortal world. Qadr, or the night of power or honor. In the name of Allah, most gracious, most merciful, we have indeed revealed this message in the night of power. Now, what will explain to thee what the night of power is? The night of power is better than 1,000 months. Therein comes down the angels and the Spirit by Allah's permission on every errand. Peace, this, unto the rise of morn. Bayina, commentary 278. But those who reject the light of truth are obstinate. Why should they persist in evil ways when the clear evidence has come before them? The straight religion is simple: to adore with a pure heart the Allah of truth, to draw nigh to him in prayer sincere, and to serve our fellow creatures in charity and love. To do aught else is to fall from grace. But faith and good life lead straight to the goal, the beauteous garden of bliss eternal, and the mutual good pleasure of the soul in her Lord. Bayina, or the clear evidence. In the name of Allah, most gracious, most merciful. Those who reject truth among the people of the book and among the polytheists were not going to depart from their ways until there should come to them clear evidence. An apostle from Allah rehearsing scriptures, kept pure and holy, wherein our laws or decrees right and straight. Nor did the people of the book make schisms until after there came to them clear evidence. And they have been commanded no more than this: to worship Allah, offering him sincere devotion, being true in faith, to establish regular prayer, to practice regular charity. And that is the religion right and straight. Those who reject truth among the people of the book and among the polytheists will be in hellfire, to dwell therein for aye. They are the worst of creatures. Those who have faith and do righteous deeds, they are the best of creatures. Their reward is with Allah. Gardens in eternity beneath which rivers flow. They will dwell therein forever. Allah well pleased with them, and they with him. All this for such as fear their Lord and cherish it. Zilzal, commentary 279. The hour of judgment must need be heralded by a mighty convulsion. The earth will give up her secrets and tell her tale of all men's doing. Men will march in companies and clearly see the inwardness of all their deeds. Not an atom of good or evil done, but will be shown in the final account of men convinced. Zilzal, or the convulsion. In the name of Allah, most gracious, most merciful. When the earth is shaken to her utmost convulsion, and the earth throws up her burdens from within, and man cries distress, what's the matter with her? On that day, will she declare her tidings, for that thy Lord will have given her inspiration. On that day, will men proceed in company sorted out, to be shown the deeds that they have done. Then shall anyone who has done an atom's weight of good see it, and anyone who has done an atom's weight of evil shall see it. Adiyat, commentary 280. There are those that fight with eager charge, the host of evil, and storms its citadel. But the unregenerate man shows less than gratitude for Allah's most gracious bounties. His life bears witness to his treats and in its greed. Allah's knowledge and his all-embracing, and things hidden will be laid bare at judgment. Adiyat, or those that run. In the name of Allah, most gracious, most merciful, by the steeds that run with panting breath, and strike sparks of fire, and push home the charge in the morning, and raise the dust and clouds the while, and penetrate forward into the midst of the foreign mass. Truly, man is to his Lord ungrateful, and to that fact he bears witness by his deeds. And violent is he in his love for wealth. Does he not know when that which is in the grave is scattered abroad, and that which is locked up in human breasts is made manifest, that their Lord had been well acquainted with them, even to that day? Al-Qariya, commentary 281. How will the senses of men stand the noise and clamor of the great day of account, whereon this life's old landmarks will vanish, and men will be helpless like scattered moths? Nay, but a balance of justice will weigh and praise all deeds, and those who good will show substance and weight will achieve a life of good pleasure and satisfaction, while those who good will be light will find themselves, alas, in a blazing pit of punishment. Al-Qariya, or the day of noise or clamor. In the name of Allah, most gracious, most merciful, the day of noise and clamor. What is the day of noise and clamor, and what will explain to thee what the day of noise and clamor is? It is the day whereon men will be like moths scattered about, and the mountains will be like carded wool. Then he whose balance of good deeds will be found heavy will be the life of good pleasure and satisfaction. But he whose balance of good deeds will be found light will have his home in a bottomless pit. And what will explain to thee what this is? It is a fire blazing fiercely. Taqathur. Be not engrossed into the things ephemeral, to the neglect of higher things in life. Life is but short, and death will soon claim you. Oh, that men would only learn before it's too late the serious issues of higher life. They must taste the consequences of their neglect. For every good and joy they must, in the hereafter, give a strict account. Taqathur, or piling up. In the name of Allah, most gracious, most merciful, the mutual rivalry for piling up the good things of this world diverts you from the more serious things until you visit the graves. But nay, you soon shall know the reality. Again, you soon shall know. And they were you to know what certainty of mind, ye would beware. Ye shall see hell fire. Again, you shall see it with certainty of sight. Then shall you be questioned that day about the joy you indulged in. Commentary 283, Introduction to Surah As. Waste not nor misuse your life. Time through the ages bear witness that nothing remains but faith and good deeds and the teaching of truth and the teaching of patience and constancy. But for these, man against time is at loss. also time through the ages. In the name of Allah, most gracious, most merciful. By the token of time through the ages, verily man is in loss, except such as have faith and do righteous deeds and join together in the mutual teaching of truth and patience and constancy. Introduction to Surah Al-Jummah, commentary 284. Woe to the man or woman who deals in scandal in word or act or by insult or suggestions. Woe to the backbiter, and if his tale is true, for the taint is in his motive. Woe to the miser who blocks up the channels of use and service and dams up his wealth, as if he could remain in possession for all time. The fire of wrath will envelop them and wither up their hearts and minds and consume that largeness of life, which is the portion of mankind. Homazara, or the scandal monger. In the name of Allah, most gracious, most merciful. Woe to every kind of scandal monger and backbiter, who pileth up wealth and layeth it by, thinking that his wealth would make him last forever. By no means. He will be sure to be thrown into that which breaks to pieces. And what will explain to thee that which breaks to pieces? It is the fire of the wrath of Allah kindled to a blaze, the which doth mount right to the heart. It shall be made into a vault over them, in columns outstretched. Commentary 285. Let no man be intoxicated with power or material resources. They cannot defeat the purpose of Allah. So Abraham Ashram found to his cost. His sacrilegious attack on the holy fane of Allah brought about his own undoing. What seemed but frail destroyed his mighty host in a day. Fil, or the elephant. In the name of Allah, most gracious, most merciful. Seest thou not how thy Lord dealt with the companions of the elephant? Did he not make their treacherous plan go astray? And he sent against them flights of birds, striking them with stones of baked clay. Then did he make them like an empty field of stalk and straw, of which the corn had been eaten up. Commentary 286, Introduction to Surah Quraysh. Who gave the Quraysh their talents for the arts of peace, for trade and commerce, and for journeys south and north at proper seasons, and made their homes inviolable in Mecca? Surely they, if any, should adore their Lord and listen to his message of unity and truth. Quraysh, or the Quraysh, custodians of the Kaaba. In the name of Allah, most gracious, most merciful, for the covenants of security and safeguard enjoyed by the Quraysh, their covenants covering journeys by winter and summer, let them adore the Lord of this house, who provides them with food against hunger and with security against fear of danger. Commentary 287, Introduction to Surah Ma'un. What remains if you deny all faith and personal responsibility? Why then help the helpless or teach others deeds of charity? Vain word worship without heart and soul. What think ye of men who make great show, but fail to meet the simple needs of daily life? Ma'un, or neighborly needs. In the name of Allah, most gracious, most merciful, seest thou one who denies the judgment to come? Then such as the man who repulses the orphan with harshness and encourages not the feeding of the indigent. So woe to the worshippers who are neglectful of their prayers. That is, those who want but to be seen of men, but refuse to supply even neighborly needs. Qawthar, Introduction 288, Commentary 288. To the man of Allah, rich in divine blessings is granted a fountain unfailing, that will quench the spiritual thirst of millions. Turn then in devotion and sacrifice to Allah, nor heed the venom of hatred which destroys his own hopes, alas, of the present and the future. Qawthar, or abundance. In the name of Allah, most gracious, most merciful, to thee have we granted the fountain of abundance. Therefore to thy Lord turn in prayer and sacrifice. For he who hated thee, he will be cut off from future hopes. Commentary 289, Introduction to Surah Al-Kafirun. The man of faith holds fast to his faith because he knows it is true. The man in the world rejecting faith clings hard to the world's interests. Let him mind his worldly interests, but let him not force his interests on men sincere and true by favor, force, or fraud. kafirun, or those who reject faith. In the name of Allah, most gracious, most merciful, say, O ye that reject faith, I worship not that which ye worship, nor will you worship that which I worship. And I will not worship that which you have been wont to worship, nor will you worship that which I worship. To you be your way, and to me mine. Nasr, commentary 290. For that which is right, the help of Allah is ever nigh in victory. When the spirit of men is stirred, they come to the flag of faith in troops and battalions. They are to be welcomed, but praise and glory belong to Allah. To him we humbly turn and pray for grace, for he is oft returning in grace and mercy. Nasr, or help. In the name of Allah, most gracious, most merciful. When comes the help of Allah in victory, and thou dost see the people enter Allah's religion in crowds, celebrate the praises of thy Lord and pray for his forgiveness, for he is oft returning in grace and mercy. Commentary 291, Surah Al-Ahab. The chosen one of Allah, in his earnest desire to proclaim the message, gathered his kin together to hear and judge with open minds between error and truth. Behold, the fiery father of flame blazed up with his foul abuse and curses, and said to the Holy One, Perish thou! With his hands he took stones and cast them at the Holy One's head. Purse proud, he headed relentless persecution. His wife laid snares, tied thorns with twisted ropes of pricky palm fiber, and stewed them in the Holy One's path on the darkest nights for cruel sport. The low, the curses, insults, spite, harm not the innocent, but they hit the wrongdoers themselves and branded them with eternal infamy. In the name of Allah, Lahab, or the father of the flame. In the name of Allah, most gracious, most merciful. Perish the hands of the father of flame, perish he. No profit to him from all his wealth and all his gains. Burnt soon will he be in a fire of blazing flame. His wife shall carry the crackling wood as fuel, a twisted rope of palm leaf fiber round her own neck. Commentary 292. Introduction to Surah Al-Ikhlas. Keep faith all pure and undefiled. There is Allah, the one and only, eternal, free of all needs, on whom depends, to whom goes back all things. He has no son, nor father, nor partner. There is no person like unto him. Ikhlas is the purity of faith. In the name of Allah, most gracious, most merciful. Say, He is Allah, the one and only. Allah, the eternal absolute. He begetteth not, nor is he begotten, and there is none like unto him. Introduction to Surah Al-Falaq, commentary 293. It is Allah who brings forth light from darkness, life and activity from death, spiritual enlightenment from ignorance and superstition. Banish fear and trust his providence. No danger then in the outer world, no secret plottings from perverted wheels, no disturbance of your happiness or good can affect the fortress of your inmost soul. Falaq, or the dawn. In the name of Allah, most gracious, most merciful, say, I seek refuge with the Lord of the dawn, from the mischief of created things, from the mischief of darkness as it overspreads, from the mischief of those who practice secret arts, and from the mischief of the envious ones as he practices envy. Commentary 294, Surah Al-Nas. Insidious evil lies in wait for man, and loves to whisper and withdraw, thus testing his will. But man can make Allah his sure shield, for Allah doth care for him and cherishes him. Allah is the heavenly king who gives him laws, and Allah is the goal to which he will return and be judged. Let man but place himself in Allah's hands, and never can evil touch him in his essential and inner life. Nas, or mankind. In the name of Allah, most gracious, most merciful, say, I seek refuge with the Lord and cherisher of mankind, the king or ruler of mankind, the God or judge of mankind, from the mischief of the whisperer of evil who withdraws after he whispers, the same who whispers into the hearts of mankind, among jinns and among men. Thus spake inspired our holy prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, whom we invoke Allah's blessings forever and ever. We who are heirs to his teachings, his exemplary life, and the golden thread which he wove into the web of human history, in pious retreats he prayed, much thought he gave to life's most obstinate tangles. Against odds he strove with might and main. Wisely he led, gently he counseled, and firmly he subdued evil. Mantle clad he solved the most baffling mysteries. His soul would scale the heights of heaven, yet showered his love on the weak and lowly of this earth. Like a cloud that catches the glory of the sun, he threw his protecting shade on all. The widow's cry, or the orphan's, found an answer in his heart, as did the cry of the puny in need. He searched out those who felt no need. He, by pride or ignorance, blinded him, and he fulfilled their real wants. His last great charge summed up the rule of spiritual life in linking faith with one universal brotherhood. Never shall we see such life again. But his clarion voice still speaks his message. His love and wisdom still pours forth without stint in inexhaustible treasures of Allah, for whosoever will bring a purified heart to receive them. And ne'er did the world impoverished by his own wayward lust and greed need those treasures more than now. There is still with us much sorrow and sin, injustice, oppression, wrong, and hate. Still does arrogance, deadened conscience, rob struggling souls of in the crumbs of pity, and make of lonesome flesh and crumbling dust fair seeming idols for worship. Still does ignorance blow a mighty horn and try to shame true wisdom. Still do men drive slaves, protesting smoothly the end of slavery. Still does greed devour the substance of helpless ones within her power. Nay, more. The fine individual voice is smothered in the raucous of din of groups and crowds that madly shout what they call slogans, new old falsehood, long discredited. What can we do to make Allah's light shine forth through the darkness around us? We must first let it shine in our own true selves. With that light in the niche of our inmost hearts, we can walk with steps both firm and sure. We can humbly visit the comfortless and guide their steps. Not we, but the light will guide. But oh, the joy of being found worthy to bear the torch and to say to our brothers, I too was in darkness, comfortless, and behold, I have found comfort and joy in the grace divine. Thus should we pay the dues of brotherhood by walking humbly side by side in the ways of the Lord with mutual aid and comfort and heartfelt prayer, backed up by action, that Allah's good purpose may be accomplished in all of us together. Alhamdulillah. May Allah make it easy for all of us during this Ramadan, inshallah. Takbir! 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 My brothers and sisters, inshallah, this has concluded the month of Ramadan and the month of fasting, inshallah. May Allah bless all of us during this month. Whether we could or could not fast is only between you and Allah. But as your intent goes, may Allah bless whatever you intend to do. And may Allah continue to keep you safe. And let's take Ramadan and use this month of Ramadan as a year of Ramadan. Let us practice what we've done this Ramadan throughout the entire year, because Allah has now given us a charge base. He has now charged us up and rejuvenated us during this particular time, inshallah. For those of you who are online, I really appreciate you who went online for 30 days. If you couldn't get here, you were online 30 days to support our reading of the FirstCleveland Mosque, and this is all over the country. We thank you for involving yourselves in this reading. You could have been doing anything else, but you chose to read the Quran with us. We thank you, and may Allah continue to bless you for your efforts online. Those of you who have been consistent here and have come into this mosque to read every night, may Allah give you many blessings. If there are rice grains in a total huge big rice bowl, and may Allah continue to bless you in your efforts, inshallah. So with that being said, I want to remind those people to make sure that you turn in your annual zakat before the Eid day prayer on tomorrow. You can turn it in today. You can go to Cash App, $ FirstCleveland. You can do that. You can go to FirstCleveland Mosque 131 at gmail.com. That's our Zelle. Or you can write a check out 3613 East 131st Street, Cleveland, Ohio 44120. You can write it out there, and we would really appreciate it. And that is our obligation, inshallah. Those of you who come in tomorrow with your families, you have zakat fitr. Your zakat fitr is different from your annual zakat. Your zakat fitr should be paid $15 per person in your family. You should have it paid before the morning prayer. We will have people with zakat buckets out front and in the back. So those of you who haven't, make sure you fulfill your total obligation, inshallah. With that being said, Sister Azra, you had, we'll talk afterward, inshallah. With that being said, for those people online, I'd like to again remind you of your thankfulness in terms of you supporting us during these 30 days. I'd like to extend my greetings and blessings to all of you who went along and with us during this Ramadan and taught me a prayer and all of the things. And may Allah bless and have mercy on you during this month, inshallah. May Allah bless all of you. And with that being said, I'd like to extend my greetings to all of the Muslim community by saying Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Let's make dua. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Wal Asr. Innal insana lafi khusr. Illa alladhina amanu wa amilu salihat. Wa tawassaw bil haqq. Wa tawassaw bis sabr. Assalamu alaikum, brothers and sisters. And I think it's time for us